Welcome to the first build of Vielin. This will be an industrious mid-sized town located northwest of the massive city of Soror. Because of its location, it would be a relatively safe town with a bustling port for trade. One of the elements that would make Vielin unique is the crop that they propagate here. The Sulka Fruit has a sweet taste. It looks like a banana, but grows in a similar fashion to a pineapple, and there will be fields of it around Vielin. There is something in the soil here that encourages the plant to grow natively. Others have tried and failed to grow Sulka crops elsewhere, but it's a plant strictly native to this area. That, along with the access to the Northwestern Sea, is the reason Vielin was founded in this space. After harvesting the fruit, it is quite perishable, so while eating Sulka fruit in Vielin and even Soror is commonplace, being able to get fresh Sulka further away is an expensive process, and thus is a symbol of status for royal and noble families. A secondary product from the Sulka fruit is an alcoholic beverage that is sickly sweet with a massive kick. Once the fruit itself is harvested, the remaining Sulka plant is left to germinate a second time while still in the ground. The stems are then cut off for the creation of what they call stem nectar. The cut stems are stored in vats with some of the older Sulka fruits that have ripened past being edible. The subsequent slurry that is extracted from this process is then barreled and fermented, creating a woody, flavourful drink that has the added benefit of storing a lot of energy. The pomace waste material from the process of making stem nectar is also used to fertilise the fields after the harvest, to put some of the nutrients back in the soil. Although the locals no longer smell it, outsiders often comment on the not unpleasant smell of the Sulka industry, be it entering the town via port or road. Other notable sites that will be built on the Vielin skyline are the keep camped on the hill and the two churches within the town. The keep was constructed with the idea to defend just long enough for the military might of Soror to march upon the town. While the town would be easy to overrun, it would be almost impossible to hold against the Soror forces. Much like Soror, in Vielin, there is freedom of religion upheld within the community, with most of the town worshipping the old Lilith faith, and the newly built Arcos Chapel getting a footing with the funding of its church in Soror. These two factions have been living with a sense of unease as the Arcos faith has been growing at an almost unnatural rate, while the Lilith faith, the one upheld by the royals living in Soror, has lost its support to this new rising power. Mainly targeting the lower class, Arcos clergy often make the promise of better things for the masses. While the shift in the city of Soror has been quite drastic, out in the smaller settlements and hamlets this process has been a lot slower. So the Arcos Chapel in Vielin is still seen as an outlier and scorned by most of its population. People shifting away from Lilith's religious teachings are often met with derision, if not outright hostility. This will create a nice point of conflict when creating the story of Vielin. With so much trade and a unique valuable resource in the Sulka fruit, I am sure there are going to be a lot of other points of tension we can lean on, and I look forward to creating more people and lore for Vielin as we build more of the town in the future. Here we are back in Vielin. You can see the fields of Sulka fruit we have here. Now this is actually an idea that my 4-year-old son came up with, the Sulka fruit being a banana that grows like a pineapple. So I tried to recreate that in these fields with the Conquest bananas and some of the other plant life that they have available. I really like how these fields have shaped up. I think they really add a nice dynamic, and when you come back to have a look at them, it's a really nice striking yellow colour. Over there we're going to have the germinated fields we were talking about earlier. Now if we come down here, you can see I've tried to add as much detail as I possibly can within this space. You can see we have some seagulls here. Maybe their numbers managed to scare off a predator and now they're scavenging over the remains. We've kept the layering of the beach going up until this point, as there will be a docks and port built within this space. I've used some of the Conquest branches for these trees. I think they look really nice. I was sort of inspired a little bit by the boab tree that's got like that real chunky and gangly look to it. If we come around the beach in this direction, we can see our first home that we've built for Vielin right here. I tried to learn a little bit from Vigo Man when he talks about your eye line. That's why we've got a few trees along the edge of the water there to just help break up the eye line when you're looking out to the ocean. We've got our little farmer house just here, and he's got a little workstation that he works on. People in smaller towns used to tend to have to be a bit of jack of all trades, so they might need to know a little bit of carpentry, a little bit of smithing, and then their main trade as well. As towns got larger, there was a bit more specialisation. I figured the guy living in this house might be from one of the founding families, so he's managed to learn a lot of his skills off of his parents and grandparents, been handed down the line to him, so he's got a few extra skill sets beyond just his farming. And he's got a nice little stables just here for the horse that helps him. We've had a bit of an update to the Victory mod as well, so you're going to start to see some new interesting blocks for Victory mod, with the trough here being full as well, so we can change this around to have a look a little bit more unique. If we come to the house itself, this is a design style that I've not really used before, so I thought I would give it a try. We've got a nice little gutter system here, catching some of the water, running it down the gutter. And then they've put a little rope there to help track the water into the actual bucket. We've also got a couple of cray pots. As the river is so close, I figured that they might throw a couple of pots in just to gain an extra source of food. I've got a little space for the farmer to whittle wood here at the front, just as a nice little extra hobby for himself. Let's go inside and have a look. We've got the benches here from Victory Mod, which is a nice little table and chair setup that gives a little bit of variety. And I've used them over here for some shelving as well. As we come in here, we can see this is the bedroom. We've got a couple of beds just there. Very, very simple living for the farmer. Nice little fire pit just here for some cooking as well. And just a little bit of storage with a bearskin rug on the ground. I really like how this building feels. I like the really chunky sort of support beams we've got going across the roof there. I think that's a really strong element to this project. If we come over here, we've got a little garden that is growing something besides the Sulka Fruit, which grows so prolifically in the area. This is a little cart from the Ascot series, and here you can see the golden Sulka Fruit that I made with Victory Mod. We've just got a little documentation here for the storage so we can track what's moving in and out of the fields, just so that they know how much they need to charge. And again, we've got the storage of the Sulka here. We've got a small section of the germinated Sulka bush that's been harvested just here. They're going to run a few experiments when it comes to fermentation using this, just to see if they can give the drink a little bit more kick than it's got. As we come out here, we've got just a little bit more of a track to this field. I will be creating a harvested area, just a small one here. That's why we don't have any details in here yet. I'm going to be just carving out a small section through here as harvest time has just begun in the area. Already I'm enjoying how Vielin feels as a town with the atmosphere we're able to create using Victory Mod and Conquest Reforged. All those little extra details that we like to add to builds is just taken to another level. I'm looking forward to writing more stories about Vielin and the people that live here, and hopefully immerse you guys inside the lore of the world of Caelum. If you are enjoying these videos, please leave a like on the channel. It does make a huge difference for me. Also, if you've got anything you'd like to add or any ideas you think would be great for this space, please leave a comment down below. And we'll see you in the next video.